Okay, let's do one more example. This is another simple example. We're going to do the third one. Write a Java program to calculate and print the price, tax, and total purchase amount of an item that costs $9.23. We're going to use a tax rate of 8.25%. And in this case, we're going to have three printouts. So we're going to hard code the cost, 9.23. We're going to calculate the tax amount. So that's 9.23 times 8 times 8.25%. That's going to give us the tax amount, and then the total purchase amount will be the price plus the tax. So we're going to, in this case, actually print out three lines. We're going to print out the price, we're going to calculate and print out the tax, and we're going to calculate and print out the total purchase amount. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead back here to JDoodle. We're going to do Java. We're going to start with the example. Here's our familiar example again. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the boilerplate. And I'm going to say this, we'll call this simple price calc. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we want to declare the price. And so it's going to be a double. Price equals 9.23. The tax rate, I left out the semicolon there. Okay. The tax rate is 8.25%. So we're going to do double tax equals price times 0.0825. This is how we do percentage, 8.25%. If you want to multiply that, you would divide 8.25 by 100, you get 0.0825. This will yield the tax amount for the price of 923. Then we want the total price, double total equals price plus tax, semicolon. Then we can print those out. System.out.println price equals price. We'll do that. So that's concatenation. Let's go ahead and run this to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. Okay. All right. So that's good. So that's one of the three values we want to print. We want to add two more system.out.printlns. Remember, if I had made an error, like if I leave off a semicolon, like on line 4, I just deleted the semicolon at the end of line 4. If I run that, if I have a syntax error in my code, I'm going to be told that you're expecting a semicolon there. Okay, so I can come back in and put in the semicolon. Maybe if I use use an invalid operator there, instead of the asterisk for multiplication, I put a dollar sign in there. We don't know what that is. It says, in this case, Java doesn't know what the error is. It says, I don't know what's going on here, but something's wrong. So you can come in and see, in that case, it's saying you're missing a semicolon, but you really used the wrong operator. In this case, the compiler isn't sure what the error is, but it's at least telling you where that happened. Or maybe you make a spelling mistake. Maybe I use lowercase system instead of uppercase system. That's important. You got to always use uppercase for those internally defined classes. We'll get again that the package lowercase system does not exist. Java doesn't know what this is because lowercase s system and uppercase s system are two different things. So you always got to make sure that you're using correct syntax, correct spelling. When you are writing code, most of your errors, say 99% of the errors that you make in code, are going to be one of three things. You're either going to be missing a semicolon, or you're going to have a semicolon in the wrong place. You're going to have your blocks out of line, which meaning you have your open and close brackets here are not being kept clean, and you've got more opens or more closes. They're not balanced, or they're in the wrong place. And the other error that you're going to have is spelling mistakes. So you're going to come in here and you're going to make a spelling mistake on a variable. In this case, we've defined, we misspelled total, or you use a lowercase for system, or you use an uppercase for out. These are all spelling mistakes. Okay, and so if you make spelling mistakes, the code is not going to work. So semicolons, blocks, spelling. Always check those three things first whenever you get an error. And then if you're not finding it, then you can dig deeper. But almost 99% of the time, in this class anyway, your errors are going to be you're missing a semicolon, you've got your blocks out of balance, or you've made a spelling mistake. Okay, let's go ahead and add the last two. Let's go ahead and add the last two printouts. We're going to print out the tax. Okay. And we're going to print out the total. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. Now I've made some errors here on purpose to try to help us debug. Okay, so what's going on here? This says, hey, you're missing a semicolon. I've made several mistakes. And so whenever we compile this, we're going to get one at a time. Sometimes we might get more than one, but typically we're going to get one at a time and we're going to need to solve them. So this says on line 8, looks like you're missing a semicolon. So I come up here to line 8, and sure enough, I left the semicolon out at the end of that line. I've made another error here. I have a spelling error in print line. Okay, I used an uppercase P. It should be a lowercase p. So let's try to execute it again and see what we get. Now it says I've got two errors. Cannot find symbol system.out. It says out is not defined. We see in this. Okay. This says cannot find symbol. It's pointing to this to the delimiter here, and it says the variable out is not found. Okay, that's because I used uppercase O. It should be lowercase o. That's a spelling mistake. We got a second one here that says cannot find symbol system.out.println. Method println is undefined. That's because I used uppercase P instead of a lowercase p. Okay, so there we had three simple errors, 2 spelling mistakes and a missing semicolon. Okay, like I was saying, explaining, almost 99% of your errors are going to be missed a semicolon, made a spelling mistake, or I got my blocks out of sequence. Okay, so now we run this, and everything looks good. We can come in and apply some formatting on this because when we're dealing with dollars, really we don't really want all this decimal precision. This is really 76 cents. Tax is not really 76.14575 cents. So we will learn later how to use number formatting and other format codes to be able to format these numbers up that we want them. But for now, we're not going to worry about it. If I come in and change 923, maybe I want to make this 1040. When I run again, we'll see that the other values have changed. The tax should be higher, and the total amount should be more. Okay. All right. So there we go. Let me put that back. Now I can save this. Simple price calc. And save that. Okay, now my project's done. And I can then come in, I can either download it, get my Java file and upload that to Canvas, or I can use this share feature to share it back. Notice that there's 2 kinds of shares here that we covered before. There's an editable share and a non-editable share. An editable share means that if you continue to make changes to this program, then those changes will be represented in the link. This non-editable share, this is essentially a snapshot of that. So if you submit this instant share, if you've gone back and continued to make changes to your code, then I won't see those through that instant share. So just be careful if you're changing your code after you've submitted it. Make sure that you're updating Canvas properly so that I can see the most current version of what you have. Okay, that's the end of this example. Go back to Canvas and you'll find some more examples with additional help.